It was just after midnight on a humid September evening when police in the small town of Fairview received a frantic 911 call. The voice on the line was trembling, panicked, almost incoherent. "There's blood. There's so much blood. She's not moving." Minutes later, officers arrived at the quiet suburban home of 29-year-old elementary school teacher Rachel Morgan. What they found inside would leave an entire community shaken to its core and ignite an investigation filled with twists, betrayals, and dark secrets no one expected. Fairview, a town of barely 20,000, prided itself on its safety. The kind of place where doors were often left unlocked, and the biggest town scandal might have been a high school football loss. Rachel fit right in. She was beloved, described as warm, patient, and endlessly giving. She'd grown up in Fairview, graduated with honors, and returned after college to teach second grade at the very same school she once attended. To her students, she was more than a teacher. She was the kind of person who remembered birthdays, who stayed late helping kids struggling with reading, who organized charity drives in the community. By all accounts, Rachel Morgan had no enemies, which made her brutal death all the more shocking. Police entered Rachel's home through the unlocked front door. The living room was undisturbed, a faint vanilla candle still burning on the coffee table. But as they walked deeper into the house, everything changed. Rachel's body was discovered in the kitchen. She was sprawled across the tiled floor, a pool of blood spreading beneath her. Multiple stab wounds marked her chest and abdomen. A shattered wine glass lay inches from her hand, suggesting the attack had been sudden. There was no sign of forced entry. No valuables missing. No ransacked drawers. Whoever had done this either knew Rachel or had been let inside. Detectives immediately sealed off the home, knowing the smallest clue could make or break the case. A half-finished glass of red wine sat on the counter, Rachel's fingerprints on one side. Another set, unidentified, was on the opposite rim. A single muddy footprint size 11 was found near the back door. Strangely, no trail led outside. Her phone was missing. The town buzzed with theories. Who would want Rachel dead? Detectives began with the inner circle. Detectives immediately sealed off the home, knowing the smallest clue could make or break the case. A half-finished glass of red wine sat on the counter, Rachel's fingerprints on one side. Another set, unidentified, was on the opposite rim. A single muddy footprint, size 11, was found near the back door. Strangely, no trail led outside. Her phone was missing. The town buzzed with theories. Who would want Rachel dead? Detectives began with the inner circle. Ethan Carter, the boyfriend. Rachel had been dating Ethan, a local contractor, for nearly a year. Neighbors reported heated arguments in recent weeks. When police questioned him, Ethan admitted they'd been fighting over his drinking habits, but swore he would never hurt her. His alibi? He claimed he was home alone watching television. Convenient, but uncorroborated. Lisa Donahue, the best friend. Rachel's closest confidant since high school. Police discovered Rachel and Lisa had fallen out in recent months. Rumors swirled that Lisa suspected Rachel of being too close to her husband. When interviewed, Lisa appeared distraught but defensive. She insisted Rachel was like family to her. Still, detectives noted inconsistencies in her timeline. An unknown stranger. Just weeks before her death, Rachel confided to a colleague that she felt like someone was watching her. Cars idling outside her house late at night. A shadow she thought she saw in her backyard, but she brushed it off as paranoia. A week into the investigation, forensics came back with results from the wine glass. The prints belonged to Ethan. That alone wasn't damning, they were dating after all. But when detectives compared the muddy footprint to Ethan's work boots, the size was a perfect match. Ethan was arrested, the town relieved that justice seemed swift. Yet, something about it didn't sit right with lead investigator Detective Sarah Jensen. She had seen Ethan's reaction to the news of Rachel's death firsthand. His breakdown, the uncontrollable sobbing, the desperate pleas of innocence. Yes, suspects can fake emotion, but Sarah's gut told her something more was lurking beneath the surface. And she was right. For Sarah, the case wasn't just about evidence. It was about reading people. She couldn't shake the image of Rachel, a bright young woman with her life cut short, while imagining the ripple effects across the community. Her students were devastated. Parents struggled to explain why Miss Morgan wouldn't be returning. Ethan, though flawed, seemed genuinely broken. Lisa appeared guarded, almost rehearsed, as if she were holding something back. And then there was the missing phone, the digital diary of Rachel's final hours. Detectives believed it held the key to everything. Just as prosecutors were preparing formal charges against Ethan, a shocking development rocked the case. Rachel's phone was found, dumped in a storm drain miles from her home. Inside were dozens of text messages exchanged with someone saved under a mysterious contact name, C. The messages painted a chilling picture. Late-night meetups, cryptic warnings, and Rachel expressing fear that C was becoming dangerous. Ethan's name was never mentioned. Suddenly the case wasn't so straightforward. Had detectives arrested the wrong man? Who was C? A jealous ex? A secret lover? A stalker hiding in plain sight? As the town of Fairview braced for answers, one thing became clear. Rachel Morgan's death was no random act of violence. It was personal. And the truth was only beginning to unravel. I will uncover the identity of C, dive deeper into the secrets Rachel kept hidden, and reveal the shocking truth that would forever change how Fairview saw its most trusted citizens. Detectives subpoenaed Rachel's phone records. After hours of combing through data, C was unmasked. Christopher Langley, a 34-year-old married man from a neighboring town. Christopher was no stranger. He was a former Fairview High student, once coached in basketball by Rachel's father and known around town as a smooth talker with a magnetic charm. On the surface, he was a family man, married with 2 kids. But his name had surfaced before in whispers: affairs, financial trouble, and a reputation for manipulation. When questioned, Christopher admitted to knowing Rachel but denied any romantic involvement. He claimed she was simply a friend who needed advice. But detectives had already seen the texts, messages laced with desperation, obsession, and control. The narrative shifted. Could Rachel have been involved in a secret affair with Christopher? Was she trying to break it off? Had that led to her murder? Christopher's wife, Megan, painted a darker picture. She told investigators her husband had been distant and angry in the weeks leading up to Rachel's death. She recalled one night when he stormed out after a heated phone call, around the same time Rachel confided to her colleague about being followed. Still, without physical evidence, Christopher couldn't be tied directly to the crime scene. Detective Sarah Jensen wrestled with the case. On one hand, Ethan, the boyfriend, was still under suspicion, his alibi weak and the footprint damning. On the other hand, Christopher's behavior fit the profile of an obsessive, jealous man with everything to lose if Rachel exposed him. Sarah couldn't shake the human weight of the case. She thought about Rachel's students who still placed flowers and handwritten notes outside her classroom door. She thought about Rachel herself, torn between her kindness and the secrets she carried. And she thought about the community of Fairview, once innocent, now fractured by suspicion. Then came the breakthrough. Forensics returned with results from Rachel's fingernail scrapings. Under the microscope, trace DNA was discovered, belonging not to Ethan, not to Christopher, but to an unexpected third person, Lisa Donahue, Rachel's best friend. The revelation stunned investigators. Why would Rachel's lifelong best friend have DNA under her nails? Was it from an innocent hug or something far more sinister? When confronted, Lisa broke down. She admitted to a fight with Rachel the night she died. The argument was about Christopher. Rachel had confessed she'd been seeing him, and Lisa, already insecure in her own marriage, felt betrayed. But Lisa swore she left Rachel alive that night. "I could never hurt her," she sobbed. Detectives now faced 3 suspects: Ethan, the jealous boyfriend; Christopher, the married man with secrets to hide; Lisa, the best friend whose loyalty was unraveling. And each had motive. Each had opportunity. Fairview was no longer the safe town it once was. Rumors spread like wildfire. Some said Ethan was a monster hiding in plain sight. Others believed Christopher's money and connections were shielding him. And whispers about Lisa divided the community. Was she the grieving friend or the jealous betrayer? Detective Sarah Jensen felt the weight of it all. Every path led to a dead end. Every suspect carried both guilt and innocence. And then, just as the case seemed destined to stall, another piece of evidence surfaced. Fairview was no longer the safe town it once was. Rumors spread like wildfire. Some said Ethan was a monster hiding in plain sight. Others believed Christopher's money and connections were shielding him. And whispers about Lisa divided the community. Was she the grieving friend or the jealous betrayer? Detective Sarah Jensen felt the weight of it all. Every path led to a dead end. Every suspect carried both guilt and innocence. And then, just as the case seemed destined to stall, another piece of evidence surfaced. A neighbor came forward with forgotten security footage from the night of Rachel's murder. Grainy, black and white, but clear enough. At 11:47 p.m., just minutes before the estimated time of death, a car pulled into Rachel's driveway. It wasn't Ethan's. It wasn't Lisa's. And it wasn't Christopher's. It belonged to someone no one expected. Someone who would blow the case wide open.